As it is written, so shall it be. Dragon Ball Dissection is here again. I gotta level with you. The last two Dragon Ball Dissection episodes were exceptionally long and difficult to make, and my most recent Mighty Morphin Zyurangers video was plagued with technical problems. It's certainly all been worth it. Views and subscribers have skyrocketed. The release of Part 7 marked the second highest single day of views in the history of the channel. But I am so worn out, and I've barely been making my release deadlines. It's going to be a treat for all of us, especially me, to relax with a more normal episode where I don't have to navigate sensitive topics or watch hours upon hours of Dragon Ball video game footage, and instead get to experience a bit more of the story. Goku teleports to Karin Tower to pick up some Senzu for Videl. Karin warns Goku that trouble is afoot. I don't know. Looking at Yajirobe, I'd argue that trouble is a mustache. Yes, the eternally consistent Yajirobe finally gets a design update for 1993, even though he barely appears in this storyline at all. Obviously anybody could bring the Senzu to Videl, but Gohan requests a delay on his upcoming match so that he can personally deliver it. And I think that's adorable. I also think it's adorable, and perhaps slightly terrifying, that if you were incapacitated in the Tenkaichi Budokai, the only thing of interest provided in the line of vision from your hospital bed is a hanging picture of this random monk. Who is he? I don't know. But he's going to watch you. He's going to watch you until you get better. He's never going to look away. Something I can never look away from is Mr. Satan's boob eyes right here. He must have borrowed them from Yamcha. Gohan heads back out for his match against Kibito. However, there's a problem. We've all done things when we're angry that we regret, things we can never take back. In Gohan's case, when he lost his cool over Videl getting the stuffing beaten out of her, he transformed into a Super Saiyan, which knocked off his cape and bandana. So, now he's just Gohan in sunglasses. While Clark Kent would look at that and go, tinted lenses? Wow, talk about overkill. The Dragon world is much less forgiving. Sitting in the audience are Ereza, Shapna, and other guy. And all three of them immediately recognize Gohan. They are apparently the loudest people in existence because when they cheer for him by name, Gohan can pick these three voices out of a packed stadium and realize the jig is up. The jig is even more up when Kibito instructs Gohan to become a Super Saiyan and Piccolo nods his assent to do so. While the crowd is growing restless at all this standing around and talking, the tension is ratcheting up. The reveal of the Kaioshin and Videl's beatdown have clued the readers into the fact that big developments are brewing. Now, Shin and Kibito are throwing out tantalizing clues like candy. Gohan is fretting over whether he can manage to win by accident and still go to school, which seems heartbreakingly trivial considering Shin is at that moment telling the others, yeah, Spopovich and Yamu are totally going to attack Gohan and steal his energy, probably not going to kill him, just don't do anything. Lending credence to that assertion, Spopovich and Yamu are indeed gauging the fight with some bizarre device. All the while, Kibito is assuring Gohan he wants to see him at full power to test whether he's capable of helping them, a tantalizingly cruel half-truth. Now that Kaioshin's identity is out, no one is going to stand against his plan. Everyone knows that Gohan is being offered up as bait, except for Gohan. I love how it chills me and excites me at the same time. The perpetually clueless Gohan decides that if he's going to give up his hopes of a normal life, he might as well go whole hog. He announces he'll show off his form beyond Super Saiyan, something Kibito and Shin don't seem to be expecting. Gohan is so strong, Shin expresses doubt he'll be able to contain this much power, which causes a small double take from Goku. Wait, I thought we were supposed to just let things happen. Now you're going to actively restrain Gohan? Are we sure we should be trusting you? I'm really digging these the ends justify the means gods. It's really keeping me on my toes. The newly recovered Videl sees this transformation and begins to put everything together. Vegeta, however, is less impressed, claiming that Gohan was stronger before. Regardless, this is more than enough for Yamu and Spopovich, who, aided by Shin, leap into action. And holy crap, that is a huge needle? They might as well be removing Gohan's ki with an ice cream scoop. A mere 2 chapters after Videl proves that being hit in the face actually hurts, Gohan gets impaled with a magical cattle prod and doesn't even bleed. Spopovich and Yamu get what they came for and fly off. Shin heads after them, and with assurance that Kibito will heal Gohan, Goku and the others decide to go too. We see some dissension in the ranks. Number 18 refuses to go because there's no money in it. I'm divided on how to feel about that. It's wonderfully in character for her and results in her being utilized in an entertaining way, albeit painfully briefly. However, it would have been fun seeing her ally herself with the group and what kind of dynamic that would create. The more serious holdout, though, is Vegeta, who is far more concerned with his match against Goku than in helping out some random god. Goku's mollifying remark of, we'll find some way to fight while we're there, is complete BS that everyone can see through, but you know Vegeta is determined to find some way to hold him to it. After Kibito heals Gohan, they, joined by Videl, head after the others. Meanwhile, the poor announcer realizes he pinned all of his tournament hopes on a bunch of people who just ghosted him. Finally, we understand that the tournament was never intended to serve as a story and an event in and of itself. It's a red herring, a springboard into a new adventure. A few of the participants were never there for the tournament but to facilitate their own mysterious agendas. Once those goals have moved beyond the tournament, they move beyond the tournament, pulling our heroes into their orbit. I think that's brilliant. I've always said that I find it awfully convenient how Ma Jr. just happens to continue following tournament rules until the very end, despite their relative lack of importance to his endgame. This is a much more convincing direction for what would happen in such a case. And while I love the dedicated tournament arcs, I've also said I think the characters and story have outgrown them to the point that using one as a launching point is probably the only satisfying way to make use of a tournament. Since then, modern Dragon Ball has sadly only proven my point. This serves as a great fake-out and opening act. Were this the only fake-out and the actual opening, that's all I'd have to say on this. But it's not. And it's not. We are 6 months into the telling of this storyline, and it's only now actually getting off the ground. I fully believe that Toriyama introduces this tournament with the intention of using it in this manner. Now, however, is probably the worst point at which to place such a device. Why? Because we just got out of another aborted storyline. On its own, mysterious strangers interrupting the tournament to steal energy is a great hook. Placed back to back with all the abandoned high school concepts, it creates the cumulative effect of making the story feel like it has absolutely no idea where it's going. Gohan's a superhero, really? Yeah, he goes to high school and he has to hide his identity from his classmate. Wow, that sounds like fun. Does it? No, never mind, she knows who he is. She does? Yeah, she figured it out immediately. It's all a setup to convince Gohan to enter a tournament. Oh, we're doing a tournament again? Yeah, it's going to be bigger than ever. Amazing. No, actually it's not. The tournament is a ruse to lure out a great evil. Oh, it's not about the tournament? No, it never was. What about the superhero thing? Throwing it away. What about the classmate? I don't know. I'll figure something out. Look, before you roll your eyes and remind me that Toriyama never knows where the story is going, I'm always the first to point that out. But it should never appear to be this lost. Shin fulfilling the Trunks role was funny to me because it opens up a slew of potential comparisons between the Cell arc and the Buu arc. They are similar in a lot of ways, which is fascinating given how different their developments are stated to be. It proves that it doesn't matter if it's editorial course correction or Toriyama given free rein. Either way, the story is going to jump around like it did a line of cocaine in a gas station bathroom. I'd say this is actually far worse. While the villains swapped out a lot last time, at least the central direction remained consistent throughout. This is just all over the place. There's plenty of charm to help carry it, but it's a mess. At least, though, we are now, finally, on the course the story will follow for the rest of its run. I'm not saying it'll be all smooth sailing from here on out, but at least we have a direction. As they follow Spopovich and Yamu, Shin fills Goku and the others in on what's happening. Kibito provides the same exposition to Gohan and Videl. It doesn't pack the same satisfying punch as the characters figuring out through dialogue they need to go to Namek, but cutting back and forth between two different groups delivering exposition helps break it up a bit. Yamu and Spopovich are collecting energy to revive a powerful Majin called Buu, who was created by a Madoshi, or warlock, wizard, what have you, named Babidi. Long ago, Majin Buu was a powerful destructive force who laid waste to countless planets. And no, Vegeta, he's more fearsome than Saiyans, so stop thinking stupid things. Buu killed all the other Kaioshin until this one confronted and killed Babidi when he arrived on Earth. Since then, Buu has lain dormant on Earth under Bibidi's seal. Kaioshin left it on Earth out of fear of breaking the seal and because the inhabitants of Earth had only just learned to walk on two legs and were incapable of accessing it. All seemed safe until Kaioshin learned that Bibidi's son Babidi was trying to resurrect Majin Buu. Yamu and Spopovich are servants of this Madoshi. Babidi is not strong, but possesses magic that can control the evil in people, hence the marks on their heads. It can also mean that he has other powerful henchmen at his disposal. Following these two back to Babidi is the only way to find out where he is and where he has taken Majin Buu. Okay, there are a lot of new words, so let's talk about some of them. This is probably among the most well-known sets of naming gags in Dragon Ball, but the three villains, Bibbidi-Bobbidi-Who, are the eponymous magic words from the song in Disney's 1950 version of Cinderella. Toriyama has made no secret of his love of Disney, even crediting 1961's 101 Dalmatians for inspiring him to take up drawing. The title, Majin, is frequently affixed to Bibidi's creation, Buu. If you've been watching since the beginning, you might remember that this is not the first time the term Majin has been used in Dragon Ball. Majin-jo no Nimmuri Hime is the title of the second Dragon Ball movie, which is commonly translated as The Sleeping Princess in Devil's Castle. The Majin referred to by the title are Lucifer and his henchmen. As I said then though, that's not exactly the same word. The two kanji used to write this version are Ma, magic or demon, and Jin, god. It's not too much of a stretch to understand how demonic god could be translated as devil, even though Akuma is more common. In this case though, while they're pronounced the same, the Majin in front of Majin Buu is written using the Jin we see as part of Saiyajin or Jinzo Ningen. In other words, it means person. This is why, for example, when I was having to learn about Dragon Ball through Curtis Hoffman's manga summaries 20 years ago, he referred to the character as Magical Being Buu. However, in Japanese it is often used in place of the term genie or jin. This is why the official English manga refers to him as Jin Buu. Those are certainly valid, but I don't mind leaving things like Majin and Madoshi untranslated. We all understand it. Or at least we do now. It's no secret that I find the Piccolo Daimyo arc to be one of the weaker storylines of Dragon Ball. In fact, as you probably know by now, it's second only to this one. However, I did praise the mystical histories involving Mutaito, Piccolo, and God. I love the stories of an oppressive demon king sealed away, how a god is chosen, how God and the devil are basically the same person. I love the iconography like Karin's cat bell of worthiness, the Shenlong statue, and the connection of the Nyoibo. All that stuff stirred my imagination and creates a wonderful mythology. Or what would be a mythology were they not first-hand accounts that are demonstrably true. Dragon Ball has always been a series that fuses magic and technology. Dragon Ball is a rideable cloud flying alongside a motorcycle, using a sophisticated radar to track down mystical artifacts to summon a wish-granting dragon. It's an enlightened hermit with a television and a porn addiction. It's a demon sealed away in an electric rice cooker. That's a big chunk of what makes it so appealing and whimsical. Granted, a lot of that technology is so far removed from reality that it is, in essence, magic as well. Even so, for the last several years of Dragon Ball, that balance has shifted in favor of technology. Space pirates, travel to other planets, death robots, a lot of that mystical Chinese influence has gone by the wayside. So it is extraordinarily refreshing to get a story about an intergalactic wizard whose father was killed in a battle with the gods and has buried his spaceship underground in order to resurrect an evil genie. This is what Dragon Ball is, and I've missed it so much. Now, while a backstory is an important foundation on which to tell a story, it does not necessarily result in a great story, hence why the Piccolo arc received such a low score. But a good foundation is a good foundation nevertheless. So this is the end for Videl. She had insisted on coming along even if Gohan refused to let her. Now a mere chapter later, she is admitting she can't fly fast enough and has to drop back. It makes me wonder why Toriyama even brought her along in the first place. It's like putting Jennifer in the DeLorean at the end of Back to the Future, except in that case, they didn't know they would have to deal with her in a sequel. 2 Dragon Ball dissections in a row now where I bring up Back to the Future. Well, I guess there's a reason they call me Mr. Fusion. Yeah, that's the reason. What, you guys didn't know that? I guess Videl coming along serves a logistical purpose in that Gohan asks her to inform his mother and the others of what's going on. She is indeed going to pass that information on to Goten and Trunks, which will facilitate their introduction into this plot. So, she's the messenger. Whoop-de-doo. At least Videl and Gohan give a heartfelt goodbye, which is good considering this is the last time they're going to interact until the very end of the series. She tells Gohan she knows he was at the battle against Cell, and that they're the ones who defeated him, not her father, which means she is now fully integrated into their world. And once Gohan and Kibito speed off, she declares that they are definitely going to date. Again, there's not a lot, but as far as Dragon Ball romances go, this is pretty well developed. Now, go fade off into the background, please. Ask Oolong how. He started a whole support group for this back in '86. I hear he has a proven method for finding work in Dragon Ball movies. The two groups merge and hide behind a mountain to spy on Spopovich and Yamu's destination. It looks like the area was a small farm, but Babidi and his henchmen have clearly put an end to that, evident as Gohan notices a dead child and dismembered parents. Not long after Spopovich and Yamu arrive at the buried spaceship, they are greeted by a minion, followed by Babidi and another minion. Both of these minions continue to follow the joke of being named for various magic words. The background minion is named Pui Pui, which according to Herms from Kanzenshu, is most likely a reference to the Japanese charm Chichin Pui Pui, often used as magic words in children's media. The more important minion, who forms the big half of another obvious Toriyama big guy little guy pairing, is based on perhaps the most well-known magic words in the English language, abracadabra, or aburacadabra as approximated in Japanese. Slice off the first part, extend the first remaining vowel, and you get Dabra, the king of the Makai, or demon realm. It's also known as the Ankoku Makai, demon realm of darkness, and Aku Makai, devil realm, because apparently Dabra has been too busy hanging around Babidi to pin down his tourism council on a consistent name. Shin and Kibito are concerned to see Dabra, as he is the strongest being in this demon realm. The fact that Babidi has him of all people under his control is a bad sign. But I'm thinking this whole demon realm thing sounds like an underdeveloped concept that exists solely to prop up how strong Dabra is supposed to be. The story provides almost nothing on what a demon realm is. What little we know is from the guidebooks. Dragon Ball already has a hell, as well as at least one devil, Akuman. The demon realm, though, is not hell. It's not where people go when they die, it's more of an alternate dimension, the flip side of the cosmos, as it were, that the gods don't watch over. Why even bother going any deeper? It's really not that important. If it was, it'd be in the story. We get so little about it that, as far as I'm concerned, it ends up feeling like it might as well be hell and the devil, but Toriyama already used them, and so I had to come up with something different and betterer. Remember the godly power creep I talked about in part 6? Well, this is the devil power creep. As far as villains go, Babidi and Dabra are very much the number 20 and number 19 of this story. They are the introductory major villains, which, following that precedent, does not bode well for either of them. Babidi, like number 20, is the only villain who has a legitimate motivation, desiring to avenge his father's death by killing Kaioshin and resurrecting his father's creation. And look, I can already see somebody right now leaving a comment saying, well, Toriyama said that Bibbidi didn't actually create Buu, but yeah, I know that, I don't care. We're talking about Dragon Ball in 1993, not some useless factoid Toriyama retroactively threw in 20 years later. I hope I've made it obvious by now that I analyze the series in its context. I will talk about things for reference, just like I did with the Demon Realm, but I will make sure it's obvious where such things belong. So unless I get to a point where that information has been created, I'm just going to keep saying that Bibbidi created Buu. As of right now, that's true. Now where was I? Oh right, Babidi is Dr. Gero. And that's only fitting since, just as Dr. Gero has his Dr. Frappe from the Red Ribbon era of the animation, this Demon Realm has Toei's Demon Realm from the Red Ribbon era of the animation. In case you've forgotten, right after Goku completes his Dragon Ball quest, he travels around the world, and in the animated version he enters the Demon Realm and fights demons. While I'd say that Dabra is a much cooler looking design than Shura, it's hard to even call Toriyama's Demon Realm a replacement, since it barely exists outside of a name. At least Dr. Gero firmly leaves his stamp on the story to the point that Dr. Frappe feels like a misplaced oddity. But when the filler Demon Realm is pulling more weight than the canon Demon Realm, there's a problem. Look, Dabra, I'm telling you, if you survive this, you really need to funnel some money into your tourism budget. Print up some vacation pamphlets or something. Thanks so much for watching. I would like to give a shout out to Kanzenshu.com's Demon Guide. From Mazoku to Majin to Makai, it has been a very helpful resource to have on hand over the years, and for this episode in particular. Finishing part 8 makes me reflect on my progress. For reference, Cell first appeared in part 8 of my Cell arc dissection, We still have a little ways to go before we're actually introduced to Majin Buu, but hey, the concept is introduced in Part 8, so that's something. Other than that, be sure to check out my new ongoing series, the all-new Mighty Morphin Zyurangers. See you next time!